All right, today we are going to look at section P6, which is lines, slope-intercept form, different things that you have looked at all as a review. So we're going to start with, remember, slope. Remember, M is what represents our slope. That is what we use, what letter we use. So in an equation, you guys are used to slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So then our slope, of course, is the M right here. From a table, or if you're given two coordinates to find slope, remember that slope is our y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, so change in y's over change in x's. And from a graph, if you're given a line, remember your slope is the rise over run. So that's how you're going to find slope if you are asked to find the slope different ways. You definitely 100% will need to be able to do it from 2 points or a table, which we will do in here. So you have your slope-intercept form of a line right here, y equals mx plus b, where our b right here is our y-intercept. We also have what is called point-slope form. So point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, where our x1 and y1 is going to be a given point to you. So you would substitute in your slope, you'd substitute in your x1 and y1, and write your equation. So if I look at the example right here, we're going to write an equation that has a slope of 3, so remember this is our m, that passes through the point at -1, 7, so this would be x1, and 7 would be our y1. We're going to substitute those three things into our point slope form up here. So I would have y minus our y1 of 7 equals m, our slope of 3, times x minus our x1 of -1. So remember, when you're subtracting a negative, that's actually going to be adding, so it's the opposite. Notice we are also, they always make you write these in slope-intercept form, so we need to make it look back up here like the beginning, our y equals mx plus b. So we would need to distribute this 3, so I would have y minus 7 equals 3x plus 3. And then to get y by itself, just go ahead and add the 7 over. So our final answer would be y equals 3x plus 10. As we're doing that. So that's if you're writing an equation from slope and a point. You also will need to work with parallel and perpendicular lines. So as a reminder, parallel lines have the same slope. They never intersect, they don't touch. So if we want to write an equation from a line that passes through a point, so I have a point right here, so this would be my x1 and my y1 in our point slope form. Parallel to this equation, the first thing I have to do will figure out what m is. Well, the slope of this line is -2/3, right? Think about slope-intercept form. Here's my slope, the number in front of the x. Since it's parallel, that means my slope is going to be the same, so now I have my m and I have my point. We can substitute into our point slope form. So y minus 3 equals -2/3 times x. Just think about this being the opposite. Since it's x minus 4, this is going to be x plus 4 in here. Again, distribute through the -2/3. So y minus 3 equals -2/3 x minus 8/3. Keep it as fractions. Do not make those decimals. They don't work out perfectly. We don't want decimals there. Add our 3. So our final answer over here would be y equals -2/3 x. If I add -8/3 and 3, that gives me a +1/3. Again, leave it as fractions. Decimals I will count wrong, so don't do that. And then we have perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are negative reciprocals of each other. So negative reciprocals, which simply means the slopes are flipped and changed. So if it's a fraction, flip your fraction and change the sign. If it was negative, it becomes positive. If it was positive, it becomes negative. So if we look at writing one of these, this time I'm going to write an equation of a line that passes through my point. So again, here's my x1 and y1. But this time I want perpendicular to this line. So since I want perpendicular, the slope of this line is -2/3. but I need the perpendicular slope, which means the slope that I need to use. I need to flip that and make it 3/2 and change my sign, so the slope I'm going to use is positive 3/2 since it asks for perpendicular. So then when I plug it in, I'm going to have y minus 4 equals 3/2 times x. Think about this negative 3, so x plus 3 in here. I'm going to distribute the 3/2. Y minus 4 equals 3/2 x plus 9/2. Again, leave them as fractions. Add the 4. So final answer over here, y equals 3/2 x plus 17 over 2. If I put together 9/2 plus 4. That would be our final answer. Moving on to our next page here. If you are asked about horizontal and vertical lines, you need to know that horizontal lines have a slope of 0. So in this case, our m equals 0. And y equals 5 would be an example of that. And a horizontal line with y equals 5 is just going to be graphed straight across here, y equals 5. Horizontal line, slope is 0. My rise is 0, and it runs. A vertical line has an undefined slope. That is an x equals 5. Vertical, undefined slope, if we were to graph this, this would just be a line then right here at 5. So here I have a rise, but I don't have a run, and you can't divide by 0, so it's undefined slope. So they will always be a y equals or an x equals with 0 and undefined slope. So these are easy equations to write. If I look at example 4, we want to write the slope-intercept form going through the point and the given slope. Well, slope of 0, right? Well, slope of 0 is up here. It's a horizontal line. It's a y equals, so this is simply going to be y equals 7. It's whatever the y coordinate is. An undefined slope matches a vertical line, which is an x equals, so it's whatever my x value is. This is just going to be x equals negative 4. Not really work to show, just simple ones, and you are good to go. Okay, last one we have is writing an equation that is through 2 points. So now I have 2 points, I don't have the slope, but I need the slope to be able to do anything. So the first thing we have to do is find our slopes. Remember at the very beginning, I gave you the equation y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 for our slope. So I'm going to let this be x1 and y1, my second point be x2 and y2, and plug into this. So I'd have y2, so it would be 4 minus 2. Oh, sorry, nope, 4 minus 9, not 2. 4 minus 9 for my y's over 3 minus 2. So that would give me negative 5 over 1. So my slope is just negative 5. Then you can pick either point that you want up here. I'm just going to go ahead and use the 1s because it's what we have right here. So if I use those, plug it into our point slope form, so I would have y minus 9 equals negative 5 times x minus 2. Distribute my negative 5, so y minus 9 equals negative 5x plus 10. Add the 9. So y equals negative 5x plus 19 for our final answer. And that is all of your information on P6 and lines. You will have a worksheet to work on. You can either turn it into the blue basket at the end of class, or you may keep it and give it to me next week when I return. Hope you guys have a great day and a great weekend.